This isn't an easy story to tell. Even now, as I speak these words, my heart races. Because what I'm about to share with you didn't just shake my marriage, it shook my sense of reality. It started as a celebration, our 10th wedding anniversary, a whole decade of shared memories, quiet routines, familiar arguments, and love that had grown more like comfort than passion. We had grown into each other like furniture in a house, predictable and steady, too steady maybe. So when my husband said, "Let's do something different this year," I smiled. I assumed he meant a weekend getaway. Dinner at that fancy place we always said we'd try. Something simple. But he said, "Just wear something that makes you feel beautiful. Red if you have it." Red. Something about that word made me pause. Red was bold. Red was seductive. Red was not the version of me he usually saw. Still, I found the old red dress tucked in the back of my closet. The one I hadn't worn since our honeymoon. It still fit. Barely. But the way it dipped in the front, the way it clung to my curves, I didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. I added the red lace panties he had once bought me as a joke, but never really expected me to wear. Tonight it felt right, or at least it felt different. My hair was curled, my lips were crimson. I sprayed perfume behind my ears the way I used to when I wanted to be touched. At 8 p.m. sharp, the doorbell rang. I smiled. I thought maybe this was the part where he whisked me away. But when I opened the door, it wasn't a driver. It wasn't a surprise chef. It was Adam, his best friend from college, tall, confident, always a little too charming. He leaned in and kissed my cheek, closer than usual. "Happy anniversary," he said. My husband appeared behind him with a grin. "Adam's joining us tonight," he said casual. "Something a little more exciting." I laughed, unsure if it was a joke. He wasn't joking. We sat down to dinner. The candles flickered, wine flowed. Adam was different that night. His compliments were bolder. His eyes didn't just glance, they lingered. On my lips, my chest, my thighs. Under the table, his leg brushed against mine. He didn't move, and neither did I. I looked at my husband. He saw, he knew. But instead of outrage, he looked entertained. He poured more wine. Something was happening. I excused myself to the bathroom. My hands trembled as I looked into the mirror. Was I reading too much into this? Was I imagining it? When I returned, Adam leaned in closer, his voice low. "He knows," he whispered. "What?" "He told me about the fantasy. He wants to see it. Me, you, together, tonight." I froze. That's when I realized this wasn't spontaneous. This was planned, carefully, deliberately. I expected to feel violated. Instead, I felt something else. Curiosity. Excitement. A pulse I hadn't felt in years. The three of us moved to the living room. The lights dimmed. The music slowed. Adam sat beside me. My husband, he stayed back, watching. Adam touched my hand, then my thigh. Then, he kissed me, and I let him. The kiss wasn't rushed. It was patient, exploring, like he had all the time in the world. And I leaned in. I didn't think. I didn't rationalize. I just felt. I could sense my husband across the room, still, silent, observing. Not once did he stop it. Not once did he interrupt. It was like he wanted this. No, it was like he needed it. Adam's hand slid behind my neck. His lips moved to my collarbone. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. My body remembered what it was like to be wanted, craved, seen. He stood and reached out his hand. I followed. My husband didn't stop us. He just shifted slightly to get a better view. Adam slowly unzipped my dress, his fingers tracing the curve of my spine. The fabric slipped off my shoulders and pulled at my feet. I stood there in red lace. His eyes, they weren't hungry. They were reverent. He touched my cheek. He kissed me again, slower this time. His hands caressed my waist, my hips, the side of my breast. My knees nearly buckled, but we didn't go further. We didn't need to. Because what happened wasn't just physical. It was emotional, psychological. My husband watched the whole thing, and when it was over, he poured me another glass of wine. We sat in silence for a long time. Then he said, "You looked beautiful tonight." I nodded. He didn't touch me. We didn't make love. We just lay in bed, quiet. I stared at the ceiling, replay after replay. Adam's touch, his kiss, and my husband's eyes. The next morning, things felt ordinary again, but I wasn't the same woman. For weeks after, I kept thinking about it. The control, the surrender, the feeling of being someone's fantasy. And my husband, he watched me differently, touched me differently. He didn't ask about Adam, but I knew he was thinking it. Sometimes I caught him watching me get dressed, waiting for me to say it. Should we invite him again? And here's the truth. The scariest part was how much I wanted to say yes. Not because I didn't love my husband, but because I loved the way he looked at me that night. Like I was something rare, untouchable, desired. And maybe, just maybe, I'm not done being desired yet.